This is Path of Exile. We're here on PlayStation 5 Pro. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. This is a free-to-play action role-playing game similar to, say, Diablo, where you are going about in different regions as one of the classes. There's a bunch of different pre-selected classes that you can kind of choose from. You can also link your existing Path of Exile account, I guess, as well on this one if you'd like to, or start fresh on the PlayStation 5 and have like an account just kind of set there. Choice really is up to you and how you want to dive in and experience this. So this is a game that got a pretty recent upgrade to the PlayStation 5. So we're actually getting like a native PlayStation 5 app here that actually, or game, or whatever you want to say, that actually really takes advantage of the hardware, and then the PlayStation 5 Pro helps a little bit more with the quality of said experience. Obviously, this is not Path of Exile 2. Someday I hope to check that out on the PlayStation side of things. I have it on Xbox, but not able to get a code or anything for the PlayStation version. Hopefully someday that will change, and we'll do an update on that, or free-to-play or whatever when that happens. But for now, we can take a look at the first Path of Exile, which is still fully available and ready to go, and offers a pretty expansive, literally long-term provided set of updates for this game that have been made available over many years. Like, they've definitely added a lot to this package, and yeah, you get to enjoy really just a lot of things to do, lots of monsters to kill, and adventures to be had. So this game does offer many graphical setting options. It's actually really quite up to you to choose how you want to kind of play this, if that makes sense. Like, you can literally right off the beginning in the main menu, in the general settings, you have the option between 60 hertz or 120 hertz, so you can actually get this running at native 4K at 120 FPS if you want, and you can do shadows default or shadows plus global illumination, so that's totally up to you. And then there's like 4 billion other settings, but they're not like graphical settings, so it's not really, it's kind of like UI stuff. Actually, my UI scaling could probably use a little bit of a reworking, because some of my stuff's off the screen, but I don't really care too much. Everybody die finally, good. Yeah, so this is a game where, like I said, I'm currently running it with like native 4K, 120 FPS, global illumination, and like, so it definitely can go up to that. Some of the more intensive areas are going to struggle more because there's a lot of stuff going on and it's pretty demanding. But it's a very, crisp, clean, very clear fidelity looking game, which is ideal. And it really comes down to kind of your performance, like, preferences when you're playing this. Like, I think for the most part you should be able to... This one has 10, that one has 9. Oh. Well, did I accidentally socket this? Because I'd rather have it on that. And okay, yeah, great. Okay, alright, we're good. Anyways, if you are having, like, technical issues, obviously having regular shadows is going to help a lot, as opposed to the global illumination. And I wouldn't recommend, like, if you can play at 120 hertz, I recommend playing at 120 hertz. Obviously, YouTube doesn't support it, so it's really hard to show you what it is. Like, Path of Exile 2 actually has, like, a built-in counter, which is really helpful and simplified. But I would say that if you are finding that you are having performance issues and drops that are less acceptable to you, or you want to get closer to that full 120, obviously dropping to, I think 1440p would probably be the lowest you'd really need to have like a perfectly acceptable smooth frame rate. But I would say the 77% might be good kind of choice, especially as the game becomes a little bit more complex. Like, this is just like easy going, not a whole lot going on, but the game, when it starts getting multiple players, multiple enemies, like swarms of enemies, you know, there's a lot that can happen in this. Let's put it that way. The screen can be very overwhelmed with foes and creatures and stuff like that, and, you know, magical spells and particle effects, and mostly just trying to give you an idea of how you can scale the experience to best get, like, the best out of it. Ideally, I'd have, like, a high-leveled character, and I guess I should have spent time maybe synchronizing things, but yeah, even then it's probably not worth it for some folks that really want the intense showcase, as to say. But it just gives you kind of the tools to hopefully make some choices for yourself. But, you know, totally up to you and stuff like that. Hillhawk, no! So I'm trying the Witch this time, which I used for my Path of Exile 2 attempt, at least opening. Originally I used, there was like a giant, this is the Axe guy or something, like a warrior type class. That's typically what I play with these. Actually, usually, if I'm playing something like Diablo, I'll do the Paladin, but Diablo 4 didn't have that, so I was the Necro in Diablo 4, which I quite liked, and I also did the Spiritborn in there too, which was pretty cool, although a little harder to use. I kind of embracing more of the characters that, like, sit back a bit, if that makes sense. Yeah. Because there usually are, you know, you get overwhelmed by hordes, and when you're fighting in, like, you know, by yourself, you can get overwhelmed, especially if you're doing hack and slash, whereas if you're a character that's sitting back a bit, you know, you can kind of take it in, you can attack, and it's a little less dangerous for you. That's mostly what I'm getting across, is why I kind of embraced that a little bit more. But it's certainly running smooth, which is nice. The Drowned Dead. Unbelievable. This is where you can purchase and sell things. I wish to sell items. I doth not have the dexterity with a nailed fist. Wait, what did I just trade for? Did I trade for anything? I think I just... okay. Whatever. Whatever.
Fine work with Hiller.
Goodbye. Thank you. Talk to Joanne in town to visit Kingsmarch.
I witnessed your back. Several of our people.
Okay. Well, ain't this just a quaint place? Like, I think from a fidelity standpoint, it's pretty clean, but that's typically something to expect from these games where it's kind of like a top-down, I don't know if I'd call it isometric-like thing.
Welcome to King. I'm glad you decided we have contracted Captain.
A financer? Uh-huh. Could I have sold some stuff before? Anyways, doesn't matter. Goodbye. What now, Johan? Speak to Rolf? You mean going around talking to all these people and everything like that? A hammer icon. Okay. You want me to put down the hammer? Hire a recruit by speaking to Razov. Oh, come on. I have to go and do the whole recruitment of things. $22 an hour. Not hired. Only got a few dollars. I doth not have money for this. Because I gave away all my items without selling them. Because I'm a fool. Okay, we should probably go back and try to earn some money. We got things to do. Optional quests up there is what that is. To the Tidal Coast. But yeah, the game has many unique areas, locations, and places you can end up in. It's actually quite lovely at times, despite all of the monstrous creatures you'll find yourself having to slay in order to survive. The Drowned. It's like Minecraft. And it's pretty, you know, it's violent and stuff like that too. And it's one of those games where you don't think of it as being like hyper demanding because you're sort of this top-down perspective almost. But like when you really get the screen filled with things and, you know, the detailed environments, and that's what I was saying. I really like this design because it can usually have a lot more intricately developed environments from this like top-down perspective. It's a neat way to set dress and design things. I must find this medical chest. It's always the spiders, eh? And then of course, as you level, more abilities, more ways to fight, you get better armor. And the core loop is like, you keep playing and playing and gathering more stuff, and doing more things, and well, I guess at this point you're kind of probably, well, you might still be hooked on this one and not wanting to leave it, but you likely, to some degree, will be preparing to have at least tried the sequel. If you were really into this one, I would imagine. And kind of waiting to see how that one progresses. Because there was a lot of hype around that. Uh-oh. A ravenous mishap. Can I say it's like a little... I don't know. You get too close to enemies and stuff like that. Cause problems for you. Okay, I might be a little outnumbered here. What is this? It's disgusting is what it is. I'm just trying to survive. Resurrect at the checkpoint, get back to it. But I don't know, I think it does a good job of being Diablo-like, while also doing its own sort of thing too at the same time. Which I always appreciate finding games that are similar to things I like, and then they mix it up a bit. Holy. I'm starting to think that area might be a little little dangerous for me. I might not be able to survive that. I do wish the opening of this game was a little bit better lit too. A little harder to showcase things off when it's so dark and grim. But these games often are very moody. It's to make you think about death and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm sure the more intensive players probably were like, oh, why did you show like crazy endgame content? I'm just sitting here being like, man, I ain't got time to grind that out. Ain't nobody got time to grind that out. Yeah, I think what I have is better, isn't it? Yeah. Just trying to find some better loot and trying to level up my witch. I feel like I gotta improve myself a bit before I can even tackle this kind of stuff. Ah, not the cannibals. Don't you hate when the cannibals attack? Like, you're just out here trying to live your best life, and it's like, you know, spiders, cannibals. Like, why are the spiders and the cannibals working together? You think they got, like, a deal or something like that? They're a team. A strong team. Ugh. I want to do this skill tree. It's 10 intelligence. I need more damage. Okay, there we go. No, I did want that. Thank you. It's also ridiculous because it's like the sense of scale and everything like that too. Like coming off of Path of Exile 2, where it has this like ridiculously expansive like level and passives and like system like that. It's almost like quaint how much easier going this one is. Like, I know there's a lot more to it, obviously. You're just starting out here on this character, but it is kind of funny, because the new one is, like, overwhelmingly, massively, incredibly, ridiculously large. I feel like I stepped in a portal backwards. But hey, at least we're showing off again this game, which is pretty neat. Like, I'm sure this is pretty well loved for a lot of people still. That's the weird thing when it's like a bit of a soft kind of launch of a sequel and not just like a full release of a sequel. You kind of sit there and go like, well, we have this pre-existing one I've spent years working on. Which is, a lot of people are just totally satisfied with what they have too, which is fascinating. Oh, come on. These cannibals that eat fire? They eat fire now? I gotta hand it to these multifaceted cannibals. Fire eaters. People and fire eaters. They do it all! The horde scares me. I'm just trying to do a mercy mission. Ooh, a runic stash, a rustic sash. I don't mind if I do. I don't know. I always hear marvelous things about the more intensive late game situations of Path of Exile. I just don't have the time to grind out all these games. I physically don't. I wish I did, but you know. Physically do not. But it's great to come in here and talk about it a bit, give you an idea of things on the PlayStation 5 Pro side of it. I feel like this checkpoint isn't even a checkpoint. It's just like literally, you know, I'm just here back at the beach. I guess I could actually travel to like the title place. Unbelievable. Oh no, we actually have to go through this area to get to the title page. Ugh. There's so much work involved all the time. Did I even grab any better gear to sell or anything like that? 27. I think that's what I already have that. Did she offer me anything for this? One. What do I do with this? Scroll fragment. Gee, thanks. 2. What if I want money? I think that's what I'm really into, is cold hard cash. That's what I want. I want my exiled path to be so depressing. I don't know, I think the approach, though, of offering something that people really like, which is a Diablo-esque game, making it free to play, there's definitely a level of that being quite enticing, I think, for a large audience, and I think that's why this game has grown so successfully over the years. Is like working with something people really like, and then, you know, doing their own little twist on it. I think helps a lot. I got this. I'm going for it. And here on the Pro, it's just running a little bit better than it was, which I think is appreciated for those that were playing the game. Like, obviously, we're gonna have to probably wait for a PS6 if you want, like, max the whole time, but this is not a bad way to go about it.